memory of Mordechai ben Abraham Alevi and Esther Bas Chaim. As you know, 30 days before the Pesach, he's supposed to start learning the halachas of Pesach. So Beli Neder Be'ezus Hashem, every day between Mincha and Ma'ariv we'll do some of the halachas. So I just want to start off with an interesting halacha about matzahs. The Talmud says a little story that once one of the great Talmudic scholars made an announcement in yeshiva. He says, tomorrow we're going to bake matzahs. And I want everyone to bring mayim shelanu. So the next morning, everyone brought a bucket of water, and they came to the bakery to bake matzahs. Now, what's the translation of the word mayim shelanu? Shelanu means our water. So he says, no, that's not what I meant. They thought that's what he meant, so everyone brought a bucket of water. Shelanu means it has to stay overnight. In other words, you cannot take water from the sink and just use it to bake matzahs, even if it's cold. It has to be water that you take from a well or from, and you have to let it sit overnight in a place that's not hot, not cool, just temperature. And then, if it after 12 hours overnight, then you can first use the water. Interesting concept. If not, there's a question if the matzah is kosher to begin with, and if it's chametz, because since the water didn't stay overnight and come to a calm temperature. And he says an interesting thing, in the winter, when you go to the spring that comes out from the ground, these natural springs, in the winter, the water of a natural spring is warmer than in the summer, the natural spring is cooler. Why? This is what the Shulchan Aruch says, because in the winter, on the other side of the hemisphere, it's summer. That means, let's say, for us it's winter, in Argentina or in Australia it's summer. So that means from beneath the surface of the earth, it's warmer on the other side of the hemisphere because over there it's summer. So the water that's coming from beneath the earth, which is the well water, is heated in the winter because of the warmth of the summer on the other side of the hemisphere. In the summer, where by us it's hot and beneath it's cold, it's cooler in the summer. So therefore, when you take now in March or in February, you take water from matzah, you have to let it cool overnight so it doesn't have the heat of the hotness of the summer that's on the other side of the hemisphere. I don't know how it works scientifically, but I'm sure the Shulchan Aruch says it has a source to it. So that's one thing. We never ever would use water straight, even if it's cold water from the tap. You would always use water that stayed overnight. And usually try to use a spring. So most matzah bakeries, they have a place where they pump water like a spring, and they fill it up, let's say now, at 7 o'clock before sunset. Next morning at 8 o'clock, they use the water. Interesting enough, in many Jewish communities, getting the water, which was the mayim shalanu for the next day, was a big thing. You know, people used to get dressed in Shabbos garments, and everyone used to go and sing songs and say praises to Hashem that we're getting the water that we're going to use for the matzah. It was like a big thing. I remember the Rebbe, going back in 1990, I had the honor to see how the Rebbe went to the well and took water and poured it into big jars for the water that they were going to use the next day for the matzah, and hundreds of people were there singing Keliata. So it's a big thing getting the water for the matzah. Besides the fact that the wheat and the kernels, that's a separate question how, but at least just for you to know that the water has to be water that stays overnight. Mayim shelanu, not our water, but water that stayed overnight. So Hashem should help, and we should do our preparation